So who am I speaking with?
Kevin Hill,
Kevin, who are you with?
Intuit.
Great. So you were just on an awesome panel about enterprise webcasting, and let's just start with the basics. What are the challenges you're facing with distributing video in your environment, and what are you trying to distribute and where?
So we're trying to distribute live broadcasts mostly. They're best described as kind of simulcasts of a company-wide or department all hands. And I would say the number one challenge we have is that unlike out on the internet where everybody's got their own connection, we're dealing with limited bandwidth in an enterprise setting. So we use multicast to distribute that video. And multicast is unfortunately not necessarily the most reliable protocol in the world to use. So what we find is, occasionally streams will get dropped or people just can't pull it up in the first place at all. So that's, I'd say, the toughest part.
For those people who don't know, explain what multicast is and what actual level of bandwidth are you talking about? How much bit rate?
Well, so we're sending everything at about 300 to 400 kilobits, and basically multicast is a way of sending a single stream that every PC can either choose to pick up or not. So with multicast, you send 300 kilobits once throughout the network, and whether one person or 1,000 people pick up that stream, you're only using 300 kilobits on your network. Whereas with unicast, everybody gets their own stream, so take 300, multiply it by the number of people watching, and you quickly realize you just used up all of your bandwidth.
And in the end, about 10 people are watching the video, and that's the end of it, right?
Exactly.
All right. So explain all the different audiences you're trying to satisfy in this. I mean, there's a lot of different audiences you're trying to deal with in terms of distributing this video. Sort of walk me through that.
So it's all for distribution to our employees, and yeah, every employee has a little bit different interests. So the number one thing they're looking for is, why should I watch, or what makes it relevant? In the end, though, we're really distributing to everybody. Everybody is employee, so we're really distributing video to everybody equally.
And you are also distributing video to people who are working out of their home office, correct? And how are you doing that?
Correct. So we do that by some modifications to our VPN so that it does not take up a ton of bandwidth, but that's actually been probably one of the biggest pluses we've gotten in the last couple of years, is that we've been able to involve the remote user community, which, over the years, more and more people are choosing to work from their home or work remote. So we have a very significant portion of our workforce working remotely, and it actually doubled our viewership from our previous system where we could not actually do that.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, were you the one that was bringing up the topic of the fact that you added sort of social media elements, discussions during a live video? Was that you?
Yeah, we are doing that. In some of our larger sessions, we are engaging Twitter-like feeds with our presentations, and what we found is that it increases the engagement significantly when people can do something during the broadcast. They can chat with their peers, or even engage the speakers real time. Whereas without that, they're really just very passively watching, and in many cases prone to multitasking.
But actually, I thought what was really interesting from what you said was the fact that they actually rate the quality of the video better if they can participate. Is that true?
That is true. People are enjoying the presentation more, and that's turning into just a higher quality experience.
That's excellent. Okay, now to the subject of monitoring. You said you guys are doing some level of monitoring, but you would like to do a lot more. Tell me where you are in terms of measurement, in terms of verifying who did and didn't watch a video. What do you know, and where would you like to be?
So right now we can't. Right now, a viewer is a viewer. So since people don't necessarily log in, they are they're viewing the video, and we can count those views. Where we would like to be is we would like to understand who is watching, so that would help us in a training aspect more, as well as if they're leaving at any particular time. So we'd like to know attendance. If there's an hour-long session, we'd almost like to know every 10 minutes how many people are watching and how long somebody watched a particular video. And that's really for us to help with the presenters and their content. If we find out that participation rises and then all of a sudden starts falling off, it will force us to look into what happened at that time. Was there a shift to Q&A and nobody cared anymore? Or was it that something actually happened during the broadcast that prevented people from getting it? Or was it just that the content ceased to become relevant?
Do you have any situations where you send out a video and everyone within either a group or the whole company absolutely must watch this video?
We don't have anything where anybody must watch, but definitely some sessions or some presentations are much more highly attended than others. We found really content is king. So if our CEO is delivering a particular message, or we've heavily advertised the content and made it something that people would be interested in, almost teased it, we get very high viewership.
Very last subject, the subject of security. I know that you're distributing some video through VPN. Walk me through how secure, not secure your video is, and does it actually even matter?
It does matter. So what we try and control first and foremost is just what goes in the system, because that's their best method of protecting it. Is if you're concerned about who's watching it, we tell them then don't put it in the system. Distribute it through another mechanism until we can get much tighter security controls. As I mentioned, a viewer's a viewer right now, so we have certain requirements for people to be able to view videos, but the most security is just not putting it out there if you're really that concerned.